Welcome back, everyone, to the Song of Waves and Wind, where we are back here in Galburu with the Kindred of the Coin, and it looks like we need to speak to Rothgar. Hello.
These highwaymen sought to rob us of coin.
They thought to rob us, so I showed them the medallion that marks me as one of the Kindred of the Coins. They recognized it not. The city of Umbar is a good distance away from this land, and we're travel slowly. Then I showed them my kolpeshes, and that was a language that they understood. The language of death travels quickly in every land, Pineleaf. Ha 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 ha! Yeah. Well, let's see what Rahazi has to say about this. Where is she? This way, I believe. Ah, yes, here she is. Hello, what do you say about this?
I did not think we would encounter the Hodi so quickly.
But they had eyes upon our group from the moment that we passed beyond the Ikerban River. They must be desperate for wealth with which to conduct their rebellion against the Ordahai. Why else would they attack a group such as ours, with so many evident warriors and our own deadly weapons near at hand? There's a cavern in the heights of the eastern side of Galburu, and more of the Kudi dwell there. The dwarf Koltek asked to see it. Okay, so let's go and find Koltek inside of their caves, and I believe the caves are out in this direction. I think it's a good time to get a little bit faster here. That is the exit, so this is where we need to go. Up to the caves. They have all these bushes here. Help to disguise the place, probably. And I think, yeah, one cave entrance. Of course, finding my way around the insides of the cave may be a completely different complication. Now, let's see, we go around here. Well, let's... Alright. Don't think that way. Is this it? Well, one way to find out, I guess. Ah, Goltech. Goltech nods that you're in the direction of the injured man lying in bed. Okay. See what he seek about this injured man. This man is seriously injured. He's dressed in an Umbari style. What do you say about that, Goltech?
The highwaymen of Jalburu tell me they found this man dying beside the road outside Jerush.
He was left for dead by the Orchai. They brought him back here to interrogate him about the caravan with which he traveled, and if any of his treasures might have been overlooked by the Orchai. It seems that he was too badly injured to speak to them, so they have abandoned the effort. He has been left for dead twice now, Pineleaf. Did you take note of the clothing that he wears? He's dressed in the Umbari fashion, and matches the description that I was given to the water bearer that aided in Balakad's escape from the Citadel of the Winds. Sadukh, he is named, yes? I deem that he traveled with no caravan, but in the company of a single disguised man. The whereabouts of that disguised man are of great interest to me and of the kindred of the coins, as you are well aware. The highwaymen have abandoned their efforts to restore him to his health, but we need him to tell us what has happened to Balakad. Speak to the apothecary outside of Galabru, proper and learn about what will be needed to save this man's life. I care not if he dies, but he must not die before he tells us what he knows. Well, yep, that is Koltek. This apothecary is pretty close to where Rahazi was. Hello there.
You need a remedy for the dying man that was lately brought to Jalburu.
I will not say that the man is beyond saving, but he lost a great deal of blood to the blaze of the Orachai stationed in Jerush. They would not have purposely left him alive. They believed that he was already dead. I can make a poultice that may help him, but I have exhausted my supply of ingredients. Oh, what else is new? Yes, you must bring me the hardy plant leaves and riverside reeds that I will need to fashion this remedy. You can find them around Khalaburu if you truly must see this man healed. All right, fine. So collect hardy plant leaves and riverside reeds. And you said around here. Does that mean inside this place? Like, oh yeah, here are riverside reeds. All right. And over here. No. Oh. Yes, and these must be the hardy plants. See if I can find any more. Here are the ingredients you requested.
You have returned with ingredients? I confess, I did not think you would.
I will make the poultice for which you have asked. It will take some time, though. Such things cannot be rushed. You must hope that your friends can survive until it is ready. I recommend that you keep yourself busy, and perhaps then you will not notice that the time is passing. Alright, so this says here that I have 10 minutes. Well, I'm not just going to sit here twiddling my thumbs for the next 10 minutes. What do you say about that, Rahazi?
The Hudi who dwell here at Jalburu are brigands and highwaymen, disorganized and given to quarreling.
They're given to quarreling amongst themselves instead of uniting effectively against the Orachai. If they were responsible for driving the Orachai out of Ambrul instead of my mother Girazi, Iridu would still be occupied by soldiers of the Empire. With only 5 or 6 Amiri to fight alongside me, I might make things different in Kudzazin, but it is not so. Oh. So she thinks that with 6 warriors they could do more than this camp does. Well, knowing the history of this game, most likely a fellowship could easily do that. Alright, what do you say about this, Corden?
Who is this man Koltek has tasked you with healing?
You quickly describe what you were told concerning Sadukh and how the kindred of the coins believes that Azagot's former servant might have spirited Balakad from the Umbar and into the wild. Corden pauses his lips in thought. Something is not right here. I know not what, but this is a puzzling mosaic seems to be missing some pieces. Keep your eyes open. You mean like Koltek is probably hiding something from us? Well, he's Koltek. That's what he does. What about Siglith?
I said we might speak in private of the dreams that troubled our rest. Do you wish to speak of them now?
Of what did you dream, Pineleaf? It tells Siglith that the details of your dream faded with the dawn, but you remember that her brother Corden spent some portion of it in despair, seeking for Siglith, but unable to find her. You also remember one of the Nazgul leading a band of orcs in search of something in an unknown land, and the words, "Beyond living memory." But the significance has faded with the night. Yes. I dreamt of a long corridor leading into darkness, Pineleaf. I sought something, though I cannot remember what what I knew, it lay at the end of the corridor. I think the cruel dancer was beside me, but when I turned my head to look at her, she was gone. I am reminded now of the room of voices beneath a double door, but the feeling in the corridor was different somehow. Oh boy. I awoke disturbed. It may have only been a dream, but my people know such dreams are often foretell the future, or shed light upon the past, or should not be ignored. Okay. Well, interesting. I wonder what Mr. Kolpesh has to say about all this. I'm glad that the lion doesn't have a taste for Hobbit.
The people who live here frequently quarrel among themselves.
These people find it difficult to agree on a single course of action. That is not a problem that we have in Umbar, where the kindred of the coins is a strong body, made up of strong voices. Yeah, I can see how they unanimously agree on everything. Yes, that is not to say that the rebels of Kalaburu lack wisdom. They seem quite frightened of both me and Hershok. And is that not both knowledgeable and wise? Balakor?
Is it true the injured man you seek to heal is Azagoth's former water-bearer, Sadukh?
And I hope Belandor doesn't slap me in the face for calling him that. Oh well, yes, I do. Boy. Oh boy, sorry about that. Is it true that the injured man that you seek is the former water-bearer? If it might be made to tell us what happened in Balkhad, we might count one of our objectives satisfied, and so early on our journey. Well, what do you say? What do you say, Sirgon?
Is it true that Koltek identified the dying Umbari man the highwayman brought to Jalburu?
Yes, this is most surprising. The dwarf must have an eye for faces and have so readily identified him so far from the city. We're talking about Koltek here, yes. What do you think Sadukh might tell us of Balakor's son Balahad? If he still lives, the dreams of the heirs of Costumere remain alive and may cause problems for Gondor in the future. Oh well. Let's see. I guess it's just time to wait. Maybe I could do some fishing in the meantime. I can only hope that her task was more profitable than mine because I didn't get any good fish.
The poultice is prepared. I hope it provides some comfort for your friend.
I hope that it will heal his hurts. He will have a long road ahead of him, for the swords of the Orchai brought him very near to death. But the use of this poultice should help him to recover. All right, we will see if it does. Back to Koltek. Well, let's see if this works.
I thank you.
He thanks you weakly. His eyes flutter open once again, and he manages to turn his head to look past you. A look of terror crosses his face as he sees Koltek standing nearby. Oh, he is here! He seeks to punish me! Well, I cannot contradict that statement.
There are knives everywhere! Everywhere!
Sadukh's eyes dart from your face to Koltek's and back again. Promise me! Promise me you'll protect me! He gasps through the pain. Alright. I will do my best to protect you. Now let's try promising some safety. Sadukh eyes you warily, and you ask him what happened to Balachad.
It is of no use then. The kindred. The kindred will never let me live.
They will never let me live, knowing that I helped their prisoner escape their clutches. They didn't know that I prayed for the return the heirs of Castamere. I received word from Sakafel that if I aided her son in his escape, she would attack the city and overthrow. They will overthrow the kindred. Those usurping kindred. Puzzled, you ask how the widow of Sakafel was able to send a message to Sadukh from her exile and the Shield Isles. Every morning, I collected the jar set aside for me and filled it with water from the bay. It was the task of water bearers to fill the fountains within the citadel of Azagoth. Yeah, I am familiar with that task. On several mornings, there were letters for me hidden in beneath the jar. They told me to bring Balachad to a safe location beneath the city, in Umbar. Sakafel and the heirs would then attack and restore the rightful ruler. And why did Sadukh leave the city? Why you left the city instead of hiding Balachad in Umbar, as the letter directed? Well, I thought that would be too near the kindred, and that they would find him easily. Well, yeah, in fact, that was the first thing they thought of, yes. If only I had done as the letters directed. Instead, we fled from the city, surviving in the wild lands for weeks, but always we felt the jaws of discovery pressing on our heels. In this land, we were discovered by the Ordekai patrol outside their hilltop fortress. My lord Balachad fought bravely, but to no avail. Well, what does Koltek have to say about that?
If Balachad had fallen, his body would have been found when the highwaymen of Jalpuru encountered Sadukh.
I think it is more likely that the soldiers brought Balachad, brought him to the Jerush. The Ambruli warriors, Rahazi, will be interested to learn that one of the men that we seek may now be held by her hated foe. Seeing that she has to say about this pine leaf, I will remain here and keep an eye upon Sadukh. Well, it's gonna be hard to keep him safe, that's for sure. It's gonna be very hard to keep him safe. See, his life expectancy is now about 5 minutes. It appears that Ordekai have Balachad.
Did the injured man give you the information you sought?
We need to learn the truth of this pine leaf. First, we will ask questions, and then we will draw blood if such becomes necessary. Jerusalem lies to the west. Alright, so I need to travel to the entrance of Jerusalem that's located in the desert to the west, which is what we'll be doing when we return for the next episode of The Song of Waves and Wind.